The Casual Vacancy is J.K. Rowling's new novel, as you probably well know, and this is a book that has gotten a level of expectation that, I can think of a lot of books that have gotten the same level of expectation, but it's just been crazy how much we've waited for this novel, and now it's here, and we've read it. So many people have read it, and it's gotten my attention that the Casual Vacancy has gotten very mixed reviews and very mixed opinion, I guess. Um, some people have absolutely loved it and praised it, and on the contrary, a lot of people have hated it and have quit reading it. And I actually do understand why, and I'm going to talk about it for a while. But first, just in case you have no idea what the Casual Vacancy is about, I'm gonna read the flap here for you. It says what it's about. And it says, when Barry Fairbrother dies in his early 40s, the town of Packford is left in shock. Packford is seemingly an English idyll, with a cobbled market square and an ancient abbey. But what lies behind the pretty facade is a town at war. Rich at war with poor, teenagers at war with their parents, wives at war with their husbands, teachers are at war with their pupils. Packford is not what it first seems. And the empty seat left by Barry on the parish council soon becomes the catalyst for the biggest war the town has yet seen. Who will triumph in an election fraught with passion, duplicity, and unexpected revelations? A big novel about a small town, The Casual Vacancy, is J.K. Rowling's first novel for adults. It is the work of a storyteller like no other. So that's what the book says. Now, the story, the plot in general, is about this sort of English town called Packford, and there's a lot of political, historical sort of details about Packford and this district called Yarville that are told in like a big part of the book that is kind of a drag to read, because it is kind of dull and it's very historical, but it's actually really important to read about that part. But whatever. The story is about Packford, and it's about the people in Packford, and basically it's how these people's lives are changed when Barry Fairbrother dies and his seat in the parish council is left vacant. So there's gonna be an election, and well, you can figure out what sort of thing starts to happen. And what I love about this story is how it tells a story. It's amazing how J.K. Rowling can write about anything and make it great. She has the gift of storytelling. I don't know if The Casual Vacancy is my favorite book in the world, but what I can tell you is that she is one of my favorite writers in the world, because she can just turn a phrase like nobody else can, and she can make such a simple story like this one seem so epic. And I just love the way that she narrates The Casual Vacancy. The setting for The Casual Vacancy was, to me, it was completely great. Packford is very well depicted, and there's a lot of different settings. It's not just Packford. There's Packford and Yarville, and there's different sort of settings and moods and stuff that I loved. The characters are also a very important part of the book. Now, actually, a lot of people have complained that The Casual Vacancy has an incredible amount of characters, and that it's only, the book is only like 500 pages long or so. So there's not enough space to really give those that kind of that number of characters, well, enough space, but and enough description and everything. But I found that actually the characters was one of the things that I loved the most about this book, because Sure, they're not as complete or as lifelike as the ones in Harry Potter, for example, because we don't have the, thousands of pages to get to know them. But I found that these characters were very relatable and that there's just a huge range of characters to choose from. So there's a group of adults, there's a group of teenagers. The teenagers are the best. Um, and there's a whole range of characters to choose from. I mean, it's like a great repertoire of characters. And I loved them. There were some horrible, despicable characters that you wanted to kill. And there were some other characters that you just felt like they were so vulnerable and so real that you wanted to be there for them and support them. Which leads me to saying that my experience reading, I mean, my overall experience reading The Casual Vacancy was really, um, I mean, it was really gratifying because I think the value of The Casual Vacancy lies in the fact that it tells, it talks about, it deals with real life situations. It deals with some mental disorders, addictions, political conflicts, and just the actual lives of people. And it's really amazing to see how the woman who wrote Harry Potter, the biggest literature phenomenon, just managed to create this. Uh, I have to say that when I began reading The Casual Vacancy, I found it really funny and really light. Then, by the middle part of it, there was a boring sensation, actually. I started to feel a little bored and like I was getting nowhere, and I just couldn't tell why she was telling this story particularly. But then once I got to part four or three, no, I think it was part three or something, um, halfway along the book, it just got so exciting that I just couldn't believe that it had taken such a huge turn, and it started to get dark, funny but really dark and really suspenseful and thrilling to me. It was just amazing. Now, the ending of this novel is very, very, very shocking because it's very dark and it's very sad. It ends with a tragedy, sure, it's predictable, but it ends with a tragedy. And I think that its value, I mean, the value of the novel lies in that tragedy. It's very poetic and it's very, it's wonderful. It's the perfect ending. So, what I can say about The Casual Vacancy is it is an important book, and everyone that is sort of hesitating, whether they should read it or not, I would suggest that they read it just so they can form an opinion because they will get we will get very different opinions. I mean, some will love it and some will hate it, but it's really important to read about this kind of stuff. So overall, I absolutely love The Casual Vacancy, even though it has its flaws. It has some boring parts, but eventually it turns really great, and it's one of my favorite books this year for sure. So read The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling.